Here's your wrestling news for September 26, 2022. We're kicking off today with WWE Crown Jewel, as the upcoming Saudi show will see Logan Paul challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Many are already writing Paul off as just the next victim of the tribal chief, but the popular YouTuber is taking things very seriously. On Twitter, Paul shared a warning video for Reigns promising a tough match at Crown Jewel, as you can see here. In response to Paul calling himself The Table, a nod to a botched line from the Crown Jewel press conference, Paul Heyman fired back, saying someone needs to smarten up Paul and that tables were constantly broken in ECW. Paul may be the underdog, but he is determined to give Roman Reigns a fight to remember this November in Saudi Arabia. Now, this year hasn't exactly been the easiest for AEW, with multiple stars leaving and the recent conflict following All Out. Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black are just some of the big names to part ways with Tony Khan, and now Buddy Matthews seems next to join them. During an appearance for Fight Life Pro Wrestling, Matthews cut a promo after his match and announced his own hiatus from the company after his match got "That Was Awesome" chants. I appreciate that. Unfortunately, tonight I'm going to be the bearer of some unfortunate news. As everyone knows, the House of Black has had some issues lately. As all the members of the House, I'm speaking for them all, we want to thank you for all being members of the House. Unfortunately, I, like some of the other members, need to go away for a while. I need to recalibrate. I need to figure out some things. As my brother Malachi once said, this isn't goodbye, this is see you later. Matthews didn't make reference to AEW or if his contract with the company is over, but it's clear that he won't be wrestling for them for the time being. It could be that he, like Malachi Black, is also seeking a WWE return, as it was reported last week that the former NXT champion has said he regrets not being with the company now that Triple H is running the main roster. Whatever happens next, Buddy Matthews' time with AEW is over, at least for the time being, in yet another loss for Tony Khan's company. Matthews didn't state whether he's leaving AEW as part of his hiatus, but that appears to be the case according to Fightful Select. According to a report from Fightful Select, it was said that AEW Grand Slam was Buddy's last night with AEW. After the New York City tapings, one source said they believed it was Buddy's last night, but that hasn't been confirmed. It was added that the spot with the Great Muta, who hit Matthews with the Green Mist, was a way of writing Matthews off AEW TV, possibly permanently. It seems that the House of Black is officially done in AEW, and while Julia Hart and Brody King could still be allies, the days of being in a group are now behind them. All we can say for certain is that Matthews won't be competing in AEW for the immediate future, but is a WWE return in the works for the former Cruiserweight champion? Matthews was also a former Raw and NXT Tag Team champion in WWE, and he could be next to make a comeback. We've recently reported how WWE sent feelers to AEW to gauge interest in anyone jumping ship, and Matthews was one of the names WWE spoke to. Not only that, but WWE also reportedly spoke to other former talent now in AEW, including Keith Lee, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Andrade. Cole and O'Reilly recently declined a request by Bobby Fish to leave AEW and return to WWE, and there's been no word on Keith Lee wanting to leave. However, Andrade has expressed frustration with the company in the past, even liking a tweet suggesting he would have it better working for Stephanie McMahon. Matthews is gone from AEW and could be the next name to return to WWE, but if so, he may not be the last to jump ship from Tony Khan and AEW. Following Matthews' announcement, Twitter erupted with responses, with many saying that he's made the right call. One account said that WWE booked the likes of Matthews, Black, and Miro a lot better than AEW, saying it's no surprise that they're begging for Triple H to bring them back. Others questioned the timing of Matthews' announcement, which came mere weeks after Black left AEW, suggesting that they plan on teaming again, but not in AEW. Some weren't as thrilled for Matthews, with one account blasting the Australian wrestler as generic, saying he couldn't stand out on TV. Whatever you think of Matthews, his future now lies outside AEW, and it'll be interesting to see how long his hiatus from the ring really lasts. Over to NXT now, as plenty of young wrestlers are hoping to be WWE's next breakout star, but Miles Bourne is already a trailblazer in his own way. Bourne was signed to an NXT contract earlier this year, and his story is even more impressive when you learn the superstar is deaf. Bourne's story was covered in the Wilmington Star News nearly a decade ago when he was just 14 and described his condition as persistent pulmonary hypertension of the newborn. PPHN is a condition in which blood does not flow properly to the lungs, and while it is treatable, the treatment resulted in Bourne losing his hearing. Undeterred from a young age, Bourne taught himself to lip read when he was just a toddler, and between that, a hearing aid, and his innate ability to read people, the young star started his amateur wrestling career prior to being signed to WWE. This week's NXT Level Up saw Bourne have his first backstage interview after 7 matches on the show so far. And while he's yet to appear on NXT TV, this impressive young man has already piqued the interest of fans. Bourne is one of many hoping to become the next breakout star in pro wrestling, but one star of NXT has had to go under the knife. Earlier this month, Yulisa appeared in a segment where she said her right knee was injured, and that wasn't just for the show. On Instagram, Leon confirmed the legitimacy of her injury by sharing that she's had a successful surgery and is now on the road to recovery. Leon didn't confirm how long she'll be out for, only that she won't be wrestling for the time being, and we wish her a speedy recovery on her journey back to the ring. Since Karrion Kross returned to WWE, he has set his sights on Drew McIntyre and has repeatedly had the upper hand over the Scottish Warrior. Last Friday, Kross and Scarlett once again got one over on the former WWE champion, albeit with a botched fire paper spot, but they're not all that Drew was fighting. PW Insider has learned that McIntyre had been very ill all that day with bad food poisoning, but powered through to appear for the segment. They said, "The word making rounds is that McIntyre has been very ill with food poisoning, but gutted his way through Smackdown, including getting an IV treatment to help him get through the show. But the company made the decision to pull him from the road so he could rest. They tapped Braun Strowman to make the Smackdown live events this weekend in McIntyre's place, surprising fans with Braun's first live events since returning to the company." Since Drew returned to WWE in 2017, he has done all he can to prove to be a reliable superstar, which paid off with becoming WWE Champion in 2020 and carrying the company through unprecedented times. We can only hope that the Scottish Warrior is healthy enough for Extreme Rules, where he'll face Kross in a strap match, but merely being on SmackDown this week was a commendable act by McIntyre. Back to AEW now, as Wardlow is the reigning TNT champion, having dethroned Scorpio Sky in July. While Wardlow has been a consistent TNT champion, the AEW World title picture has been a mess for months, with CM Punk winning, being injured, an interim champion, a title unification, Punk winning the title again, the title being stripped, and now Jon Moxley being on top. It's not just fans who have been critical of the AEW World title picture, as during an interview with the Dynamite Download podcast, Wardlow said the state of the world title has been in shambles. Mr. Mayhem noted that had he won the AEW World Championship earlier this year, he'd still be the champ today, and we would have been talking about the summer, fall, winter, spring, and next year's Summer of Wardlow. After holding the AEW TNT Championship, the World title seems the next logical step for Wardlow, but with reports of a possible injury, any plans for Mr. Mayhem to be pushed even further are unclear at this time. From one muscled-up powerhouse to another now, as Brock Lesnar hasn't been seen on WWE programming since SummerSlam, where he came up short in his efforts to dethrone Roman Reigns. For his feud with Reigns over the past year, Lesnar sported a much different look than what fans had seen, rocking a ponytail and beard, but now that's changed. In a recent photo shared online, Lesnar is now clean-shaven, but still appears to be rocking the ponytail that he had throughout his most recent run. However Lesnar looks, the former world champion remains an absolute beast in the ring, but fans will see a new look for Brock when he next appears on TV. Now, fans may have forgotten about Brad Maddox, who was once a WWE referee before being appointed the general manager of Raw. In 2015, WWE fired Maddox for using a line at a live event they deemed offensive, but now the former star has re-emerged in an unusual place. Maddox trended on Saturday night on Twitter after screenshots from a marriage coaching website went viral, where he appeared in photos with his wife of 15 years, Ryan. Given that this is Ryan's website, she adds in the About Us section that the couple have 2 daughters together as well as a puppy. Maddox is remembered by many fans for his involvement in the leaked sex tape from years ago, and fans couldn't help but bring this up when discussing the former Raw GM. Ultimately, Maddox is happy with his family, and that's what matters, and the wrestler-turned-actor is doing well after leaving the squared circle behind. At Crown Jewel, Logan Paul will challenge for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, and while he may be a contracted superstar, he's best known for his work outside the company. For years, celebrity involvement in wrestling had faced criticism from fans and those in the business alike, with the argument being that the celeb is taking a spot from a more deserving full-time talent. Roman Reigns certainly isn't at risk of losing his spot, and when speaking to Seconds Out, the Tribal Chief had some advice for those unhappy wrestlers. Be so good that nobody can take your spot. I don't care who they bring in, you can bring in anyone, and they ain't gonna take the Tribal Chief's spot. It's worth pointing out that unlike other celebrities, Paul has already had some matches with WWE and impressed audiences with his performances at WrestleMania and SummerSlam. While Logan Paul will bring a ton of mainstream media to Crown Jewel, Reigns is still the heavy favorite to retain in what will no doubt be a significant match regardless of the result. And we're ending today with Veer Mahaan, who was at one point supposed to be the next top heel on Raw, but that didn't pan out. After months of vignettes promoting his arrival, which later became a meme with fans, Mahaan finally emerged on the post-WrestleMania 38 Raw, but his time on the Red brand seems to be done. At a recent NXT live event in Citrus Springs, Florida, Mahaan teamed with his Indus Sher tag team partner Sangha as the duo took on Andre Chase and another opponent. It shouldn't be too surprising that he's back in NXT, as it was only a few weeks ago that it was reported how there were no significant plans creatively for Mahaan on the main roster. Veer's last main roster appearance was over a month ago on the August 15th Raw, and although many superstars have received better booking in this Triple H era, Mahaan's time on Raw has come to an end. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.